Right, welcome everybody to this, I think, our fourth or fifth edition of doing this event with the leading universities in India. We are really excited to bring this to you because I really feel that the last 10 years or so has seen this amazing revolution in undergraduate education in India. And we meet so many students who are like, why don't I just want to do my best undergraduate education in India? Because there are so many great universities out there now, whether it is liberal arts or whether it's technology. And we are really grateful to Ashoka and Plaksha and Krea and Flame for being there with us and sharing, so openly and intimately with all our clients. So thanks everybody for joining us on this session. Before I hand this over to Mercia, let me just give you a little bit of an idea about how the day will go, right? So we start with our session with Ashoka, and we've got, so basically, as you know, the overall idea is for us to look at the best universities in India for you to understand what they offer, to understand that what sort of students are they looking for, and sort of get answers to questions that maybe you're not able to ask in other larger forums, right? So we start with Ashoka University, and we have Director of Admissions Mercia with us. Mercia's a really passionate educator, and as you'll see that it's really joyful to get her insights on admissions and on education in Ashoka. After that, we move on to Krea from 5:30, and then I'll be introducing the speakers as they come on. We will then move on to Plaksha, and then at 6:20 we'll be talking with Flame. But first, we are here with Mercia from Ashoka University, and all yours, Mercia. Over to you. Okay, sorry. Before Mercia starts speaking, one request to all the participants. I know that there are a lot of thoughts and there are a lot of questions, and holding them on till the very end and saying, oh, let her finish and then I'll ask, then you can't pay attention to what the speaker is saying. So feel free to put your questions down in the chat box as we go along. And when you want to speak, we are happy to allow you to unmute yourselves and directly ask a question to the speaker. But till they finish what they're saying and they open it for questions, if you have a question, mark it by putting it in the chat so that we know what questions there are. And even as they're speaking, sometimes they may pick up what you are saying and ask you directly. All right, so now I'm done. And over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Richa. Hi, everyone. So nice to see so many of you. I think as people are entering, there's that beeping sound. I hope it's not from my side.
No, it's from our side. There's
Okay.
I gave it a 2-3 minute lag. I think for another 2-3 minutes, people will keep entering. But I feel people who joined at 5, we shouldn't make them wait so much.
I was worried it was mine. So I'm Mersha, and I've been with Ashoka for, I think, actually before Ashoka started. So been around for a while. And I've been with the admissions team for many, many years and have brought in a lot of, most of the undergraduate cohort over the years. Since I just saw the other universities that are here with us today and the stack up that we have, all very familiar universities, very good universities. The courses that we are, if you hear the presentations, we're doing similar things. And so and all of us are coming from a liberal education pedagogy. So what I thought I would do with you, and I'll share my screen as I speak, is I would, sorry, please let me know if can you see that?
Not yet. Are you sharing your screen?
Sorry. I am trying to share my screen. Okay. Tell me if you can see that. Yeah? Yeah. That should be visible, right? Okay, sorry. Yeah. So what I thought I would do is I would just talk a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about the admissions process, Ashoka's admissions process. But primarily, I want to address what a liberal education intends to do, what it is and what it intends to do. And I do want to talk to you about how it is set up to be a transformational experience, right? How it is set up to be a life-changing experience. It's not just about getting into university, getting a degree, getting a good job placement, and then leaving. you're going to be in university for quite a few years, right? And with the new the national education policy that's come out, it's pretty much a 4-year deal. So, and 4 years is a long time in young lives like yourselves. And so, what do you do in those 4 years? What is this experience you're going to have? Is something that I want to focus on. And then, as you hear from the different universities, you of course will be the best judge of where you see yourself in the future. So, very quickly, you will have heard the term holistic in various spaces, and if the so the we talk about holistic admissions, but it comes from the holistic education that is being offered, right? Any admissions process for any university comes because of the kind of education that's offered within that university. So first, something is set up, the university is set up, there is a pedagogy, there is a methodology of how that pedagogy is implemented, and then the admissions process is set up to find suitable students to fit that pedagogy and that learning experience. So this is the same that has happened at Ashoka as well. So within Ashoka, you will see that we allow you to study the natural or the pure sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities in a very diverse, multicultural residential space. So it's a residential program for the undergraduate program. And it's a 4-year BA, BSc honors. So you can get a BA, BSc honors, or you can get a BA, BSc honors with research. That's what you can do in 4 years. Of course, the NEP also allows you to drop out after 3 years with a degree. So that's also possible. But we're hoping that students will really make the most of it within the 4 years. So what exactly is this education about, right? So within a liberal education, you get the opportunity to explore a range of disciplines, but especially a breadth of them, right? So because it's a range, you get to do a little bit of a lot of things, right? And then you also spend sufficient time engaging with one or two disciplines that you are really passionate about. Primarily what this does is it really allows you to understand yourself and then decide what it is that you want to do. So that's what the education allows you to do. And you would have heard terms like multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary being thrown around. Essentially, what they mean is that you're not signing up for one program or one course and stuck to that. So you're not saying, oh, I want to study physics, and then that's all you're doing for like 4 years. Or, oh, I want to study economics, and you're only doing economics. You are going to have the opportunity to really do a range of different courses, even though you will have to do a bulk of courses from the discipline that you want to major in. You will still be able to do electives or concentrations or minors. And then, at Ashoka, we have foundation courses. I'll talk a little bit about that. But you do get the opportunity to explore a range. And interdisciplinary means that as you explore this range, you will realize that these disciplines speak to each other, right? So, for example, you may be passionate about computer science, but you'll realize that computer science doesn't stand alone. Computer science stands together with maybe a little bit of psychology, maybe a little bit of economics, maybe a little bit of, an understanding of history or political science or laws. You have to realize that in today's day and world, the way the world is set up, you don't learn anything in isolation. And everything you know is constantly talking to each other. And so that's the nature of the education. So what this translates into within the classroom setup is that it forces you to think. You're no longer going to be taught the what, right? I mean, the easy way to now know about anything is you can Google it, you can YouTube it, you can look up various platforms, you'll get everything that you need to know about anything. So that's not really adding any value to your life, right? But if you're taught how to think, and we focus on critical thinking, where you are taught to look at anything, taught to look at it from multiple perspectives, taught to look at it from, very key areas, agree to disagree. When you're taught to think, then you can think about anything. So critical thinking, discussions, collaborating with your peers within the classroom, working on projects, working on ideas, conceptualizing and innovating new things. So these are some very exciting things that you get to do in an education that teaches you the how to think. Um, and how do you do these things? There's going to be a lot of reading, like academic reading, a lot of research, a lot of writing. It's not about giving examinations. Some courses will have exams, but the majority of them really expect you to come up and bring your own original thought and contribute to whatever knowledge is existing in the world, right? So if you learn how to think and you're able to think in a fashion that is innovative and new, you can contribute to what's existing out there in the world. And that is really exciting because suddenly it sort of adds meaning to you as a person and adds meaning to your life. Of course, you will look around yourself and then you'll see, oh, there's this problem. Let me see how I can solve this problem. Or maybe I need to come up with something to address this particular issue. You learn how to problem solve, you learn how to innovate, you learn how to communicate these things in a way and in a manner that really allows you to expand yourself and in a manner that actually contributes to solving key issues around you. And some of these things may seem very big and very broad at this stage, but I'll explain a little bit more, especially when I'm talking about, say, community building or social impact, right? When we say social impact, many of you might be making your profile or writing your CV, or you would have done some work with some NGO or something. All that's fine, and I'm not taking away from that. But I just want to add and say that social impact doesn't have to be anything that even goes on a profile or on a CV, right? It fundamentally is when you look around where you live, when you look around your community. So your community could be at school. Maybe you go for tuitions and that's a community that you have. Maybe it's your neighborhood. Maybe it's your family friends. Maybe it's your relatives. It could be anything, right? Any community, right? Within that community, or if you have, if you're open-minded, a little bit more broad-minded, you may think about, you may love reading about politics or reading about the country or reading about world problems and health. And you may think about contributing in some way or the other. That is really social impact. It's not going and doing one activity somewhere or being forced to do something. Social impact is really looking at the world around you and saying, I'm really passionate to work on this particular project. You may never eradicate poverty. And I have thousands of students have told me this. I want to work on poverty. There are a lot of people working on poverty. We still have a lot of poverty in our country. And there is poverty around the world a lot. But again, not to take away from that, I think the way to look at that is, if I have this education, if I'm allowed to think, if I have multiple perspectives, then what can I do in my capacity as a young person? That's you. Or as an older person, that's me. What can I do to contribute toward this particular issue that bothers me? Whether it's gender, or whether it's other kinds of discrimination, any sort of marginalized community. Or maybe it's not even a marginalized community, right? Maybe it's a concern that your friends have, right? Or you have. So whether it's in the space of learning or whether it's in the space of mental health concerns, it could be anything. How do you approach that as something that you want to contribute to? So fundamentally, what we're saying is that you get an education like this in any of these universities, you are forced to think and forced to move outside your comfort zone. And if you make the most of that education, you are going to have a transformative experience. And you are going to be able to really add value to your life and add value to your community, whatever you say is your community. Okay. So at Ashoka, very quickly, like I said, it's a 4-year degree program, BA BSc honors with research, or just a BA BSc honors. You will have the opportunity, and mandatorily, you will have to do foundation courses. Those are core Ashoka courses that you will have to do. You can do a major. You can decide you want to do a major in one. You might have the opportunity to do a double major as well in 4 years. You can pick a minor that you want to do. You will have space to do co-curricular courses, electives, internships, and of course research, right? So this program is set up where you go, you pick the courses you want, you explore, you decide what you want to major in, and then you are able to really chart out the course of your 4 years. So if you want to have a look, these are the foundation courses at Ashoka. And as you can see, they're very interesting courses, and everybody gets to do these. Everybody gets to explore these courses. They just form a basis for your learning, your basis for how to think, and basis for how to write and do research, which comes handy for the rest of your educational career, whether it's your undergrad or your master's or your PhD or whatever you want to do, right? So they really teach you how to think and how to research and how to write and how to engage with concepts and ideas and philosophies, just a range of things. Of
Great
course,
books. I like that. Great books is such a great course.
yeah, great books. And it's interesting because each professor who teaches the course, they pick their own great books,
Oh,
right?
all
So
right.
yeah, at least at Ashoka, there's no set curriculum. All courses are really defined around what the professor develops. Of course, there are some set topics that they would teach, but yeah, so it's very interesting that way. So you get to explore, really, right? Just moving on quickly, as you can see, this is all on the website, so I'm not going to go through that, but you can see we have pure majors, we have interdisciplinary majors, you can do minors. Your minor can also be any of the other majors that you want to pick. It's just the number of courses are lesser than a major, the courses required for a major, the credits required for a major. Then there are co-curriculars that you have to do mandatorily. So you pick 2 courses and then you need to do those. So broadly, this is the academic journey. And the admissions process, hence, based on this journey, is really looking for students who would thrive in an environment like this, right? This is the admissions process, and I'll go through that. But I just want to say that primarily, what are we looking for a student to succeed in a liberal education environment, right? We are looking for students who are curious, right? We want you to be curious about a lot of things. We want to know that you really want to learn. It's a very big thing for us, right? If you say, I want to get only high scores, that doesn't quite cut it. We're really looking for, of course, high scores are great. You should have high scores. But we also want to see that spark in you that would say that I'm curious about a few things and I'm really keen on learning those things and I'm really doing something about it, right? So our application form, so we have one admission cycle in a year and we have 4 rounds, so multiple rounds, and it's the same process. So ideally you should apply in round 1 or round 2, and our forms are already open. They went live on the 11th. So our first stage is application and assessments. And if you see our application form, which is quite long and lengthy, and our assessments, don't be scared. The aim of it is just to know as much about you as possible. We're trying to spot, the curiosity in you. We're trying to spot a little bit about yourself, where you come from, get to know you as much as possible within the admissions form, within the application form. Then you have mandatory assessments. There are 2 assessments. There's an on-the-spot essay, and then there's an aptitude assessment. Again, in both of these, we're really trying to see how you think. Are you able to? You don't need to prepare for these assessments. They are assessments that you read the prompt, you bring in all the existing knowledge you have, and you address it. So we're trying to see, are you really able to engage with this world around you? So that's important for us, right? We want to see how you engage. We want to see what you're really passionate about. We want to see what you care about. We want to get to know you, because students who exhibit these things really do well in an education that is of a liberal arts and sciences nature. Otherwise, if you're only interested in following, I read this, I memorize it, I write my exams, I get good scores, the Ashoka type of education may not be suitable for you. So this is what. So if you look at our application form and the assessments, you'll realize that all of it really wants to get to know you and wants to get to know your interests and your passions. So once that's done, we have a mandatory interview for those who have been shortlisted. Again, the interview is very holistic. It's really trying to get to know you and also see if you're a good fit for Ashoka. So that's how we are looking at the interview. It's a little bit academic. It's a little bit personal. It's a little bit interactive. it's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. So please come. If you do come and apply to Ashoka and you make it to the interview round, don't panic. It's supposed to be an experience that's enjoyable, right? And there's learning at both sides. I learn from all the interviews I do as well, and hopefully you will learn from being interviewed and that engagement. Then there's an admissions committee review, and then the admissions committee gives offers or denies or defers some students or etc. There are different kinds of decisions. One thing I do want to say is that if you get admission into Ashoka, whatever it is, we don't want finances to stop you from attending. So a financial aid form is open for all students who get an offer of admission. You can apply. It's need-based. It's based on the need of your family, need of what you need. So they ask you for a lot of documents. But 50% of our students are on financial aid and some form of financial aid at Ashoka. So it's a range, and we have around 22% of students, I think, who are on a full tuition waiver or above, fully even, like, because we're residential. So there's a lot of support, right? And there are a lot of other support systems in place, right? We have an Office of Learning Support. We have a Center for Wellbeing. We have a Center for Writing and Communication. So enough support systems on campus if you do make it, right? But the aim is that if you're open-minded, if you're curious, if you have this desire, right, to learn and to make an impact, this admissions process should not be very difficult for you, right? Of course, we do look at various things. We look at your academics, we look at your non-academics, we look at personal essays, there are letters of recommendation. So we have a range of those things, which you will see as you open the application form. But if you engage well with it, if you're somebody who is deeply engaged, right, with yourself and with the world around you, then you will really enjoy this process. So very quickly, this is our calendar. As you can see, our form's open on 11th. Our first submission deadline is 22nd November, so it's coming up. And then the assessment day is 3rd December. And whoever applies in round one, you'll know your decision by 24th January. So this is also on the website. You can look at it. But just to let you know, forms are open, so please feel free to apply. Okay, so coming back to this transformative experience, right? There is the Ashoka education, or a liberal arts and sciences education. And then there's a process of admissions that all our universities follow. There are a lot of support systems and structures and, lots of exciting things that are happening on campus, right? But what does this do for you as a person, right, who gets into any of our universities, or especially since I'm talking about Ashoka? If you thought you were an open-minded person, trust me, you will be more open-minded than you have ever been at the end of the 4 years. You will not be able to look at anything around you with a closed mind. You will be uncomfortable. You will learn how to deal with ambiguity. You will be forced to come out of your comfort zone. You'll be pushed to speak your mind, right? And in that process, your mind will really open up. Your mind will open up. There is no way that it won't. And I can tell you this, students that I have met, even just 6 months into, after the first semester, they feel like they look and sound like different human beings, right? So Ashoka really does that for you. Any liberal education will do that for you. The other thing that I was speaking with Richa with earlier, and I wanted to share with you, is we are very conscious about creating a diverse cohort. So it's not like school. In school, you're sort of in the same school over the years. There's students from very similar backgrounds, right? Of course, everyone's story and everyone's family is unique, but some sense of similarity, right? But in a university, students come from a range of different countries and places and backgrounds and, exciting opportunities that they've had or no opportunities. So the diversity is really beyond anything that you've seen. And the most beautiful thing about this is that you learn more from your peers than you learn from even your faculty. You learn more from, especially in a residence life space, right? You live there, right? You're eating there, you're living there, you're breathing there, and you're having breakdowns, or you're crying, or you're upset. But you really learn more from your peers, not just the ones even in your classroom. Like from the classroom, of course, you're primarily learning is from your peers. So my encouragement really is that if you think you're going to only make friends with people just like you you're not going to grow. You're not going to make the most of a liberal arts education. You're not going to have a transformative experience. So embracing diversity, really looking past your nose and your experiences and your family sort of background and looking at people who are nothing like you will change your life completely. In a residence life, right, you also build friendships. I think one of the beauties about a boarding life, boarding university, or where you stay is you make friends for life. You don't just make friends for those 2 years or 4 years, but you make some friendships that last for your entire life. People that you can count on, rely on. This is a very important aspect of university life. People that you can maybe travel with, people you go to the gym with, people you play sports with, people you participate in events with, do projects with, learn with, exchange ideas, friendship. So think about like creating friendships that last a lifetime, right? And finally, there are going to be some very life defining and life changing moments within your education system. And yes, you may get a good job at the end of it. Yes, you may get some good grades. You may graduate magna cum laude. Those things will happen. But in the little things, you will experience an idea in the classroom, a conversation with a friend at night, right? An event that has happened, an observation you have made that will really change you. Because a liberal education is supposed to be, it's not limited to just learning text. It is supposed to give you enough tools and skills and wisdom and knowledge to make you into a good human being. It's primarily created to make you into a well-rounded and good human and a good citizen. So if you go back to the history of a liberal education, you will see that that's where it came from. You were primarily given a range of disciplines that would give you enough to make you a good citizen. And a good citizen, I believe, is a good human.
Absolutely, Mercia. Thanks so much for giving that about liberal education, because parents keep asking us what does that really mean, and that gives everybody a lot of insight. Now, a lot of people have some very specific questions over here, so I'll hold my own questions till we have all the questions answered here.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen. I'm actually done. This was my last slide. My last slide actually is this. Sorry.
That's your last
Just
slide.
if you want to know, we have email ID, UG apply at ashoka.edu.in, or our website's there, or the application portal is open so you can apply. So you can just go to the website and you'll find all of this there. But I think if I had to sort of I'll stop my screen and I'll just share my concluding thought is, it's supposed to be, I'm not saying you won't have bad times. I'm not saying you won't be disappointed. I'm not saying you won't have, issues, but it will be a life-changing experience, right? And it can be anything. There are a lot of opportunities in a liberal education university. And so I would say that if you make the most of it and the best of it, you will really have that experience. Okay, I can take some questions. Are there any quick
Yes.
ones?
So let me quickly run you through some of the
Okay.
big ones I'm seeing. One is the difference between an honors degree and a research degree. It says, what's the difference between honors and research?
Yeah. So they're both honors degrees. One is with research. You'll get an honors with research, and one is just an honors degree. The difference is that you can choose to write a research paper, which is around, I don't know the exact word limit, but if you do a research paper in your fourth year, it will be equivalent to a certain number of courses. So assume, and I'm just assume that 12 credits, that you have 12 credits for your research paper. You could either do that, or you could do 3 courses of 4 credits each, which would be equal to 12, right? But then you would get a BA honors or a BSc honors, depending in whatever subject discipline that you choose. But if you do the research paper, you will get a BA, BSc honors with research in that particular discipline. So it's a matter of either writing a research paper. The good thing about writing a research paper is it gives you enough skills to then do your master's, trains you to do the reading, writing, publishing that you want to do in the future, especially if you're interested in academia in the future.
Right. Wonderful. So I'll pick up another question that I'm seeing
Yeah.
over here, which, I could answer, but perhaps you can briefly answer. Is the foundation course mainly for subjects you are weak in? So, well, the answer is no, but maybe
Yeah.
you can put in a
The
line.
answer is they're mandatory for everybody. They're foundational courses. You may be weak in math and you have a mathematical thinking course, that's fine. You may be not a great reader and you might be weak in, but you have great books and literature in the world, and you do that. You may be weak in science, but there's a principles of science course, but everybody does it, right? Somebody will be good at something, somebody will not be very good at another thing. It doesn't matter, but everybody gets a fair chance and an equal chance to explore all nine courses.
So, Marsha, there are some very admissions-oriented questions. So, one is like, this is Aviv. I just want to understand the exact question. He's saying, will we be allotted extra time for the essay? Do you mean for the on-the-spot essay, Aviv? If you're there, you can unmute yourself and answer.
Yes, I was referring to the on-the-spot essay.
On-the-spot essay. So you're saying in case there is a learning disability or
Absolutely.
ADD, then you'll get extra time for the on-the-spot essay. Is that so, Marsha?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, on Friday, I'm doing a session for our outreach team with the details of the application form. So please note that we have a support section on our app form. If you indicate that you have a certain disability or a impairment and you require additional support, you can mention it. You can even put attachments or any sort of, diagnosis that you have. And at the time of the assessments, we'll give you some of you, depending on if you have the need for a writer, scribe. We even allow you to have that. So we are very specific about whatever request you may have, but you'll have to put it on the form, and there's a very specific place for it on the form. It's under our support section. So a 30-minute essay will get 45 minutes. A 90-minute assessment, I believe, gets 120 minutes for the assessment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marsha. That makes so much sense. Now, these two questions are very similar. One is saying that do marks matter a lot? Is there a marks cutoff? And then the other question is saying, what is the weightage between academic extracurriculars, LOR, interview, aptitude test, essays?
Yeah.
So,
So you'll have to join my admissions team for me to tell you all of that, because I'm not going to tell you. But what you need to know is that everything is important, but nothing is more important than anything else. Okay, so everything is important, but no one section is more important than another section. Of course, we look at your academics. We want to see your academic rigor, your interest, how you've done, whether you're doing from class 10 to class 12, right? We ask for predicted scores for class 12 if you don't have it. If you have standardized scores, put it. If you think you've done well, we give you the opportunity to do our own assessments. But don't worry if you've not done well in something. But we also look at your non-academic engagement, right? Maybe you've been participating in certain things. You've been, dancing for like 10 years or 12 years. You've been doing a range of activity, whatever it might be. Just honestly put it. And if you have any certificates, anything to show, any collateral, please add it. We will value everything that you put. We read the application forms very closely. The LOR is not mandatory because we understand some students don't have access. But if you have it, great, even better, right? We've got 2 essays this year, so you'll have to look at the application form to get the prompts.
right.
But we've got 2 essays. Sure.
Cut you off, Marsha, because there's so many questions. Meenu, if you'll just give us 5 more minutes. Now, some of these questions, like are SATs and APs required? What about APs? Well, I know that they're not required. I guess what people mean to say is that will it make my application more competitive? And I guess it would, but it's not a requirement, right?
Okay, so if you have an SAT or an ACT score that you think is fantastic, please put it. If it's not fantastic and you don't want to put it, don't put it. If you want to put it anyway, please put it. What we'll do is, since we have a mandatory assessment, we look at everything. Assume you didn't do well on our assessment, but you did better in the SAT, we'll take that. So we'll just look at, because ours is also an aptitude assessment. We don't consider, you can put down the AP, if you've done some AP courses, you can put them down in the section, there's a section under class 12, but we don't use AP scores for anything except for understanding your application and your interest. So it's helpful, it's definitely helpful, but it's not like we're not scoring or using those scores. We just want to see, how have you sort of explored? Was there anything else? There's one LOR. I think someone asked how many.
Someone's asking about how does the school send an LOR? Do they send it directly to you? Does the form have a place for them to put it in?
So there's a form. On the form, there's a place for you to fill in their details. You ask your teacher or your counselor or Ask them if they will write it for you. They should know you well enough, somebody that you've either studied under or a counselor or you've worked with in an internship, someone in a professional or academic space, not a friend or a relative or someone like that. Ask them if they agree, put down their details, and they'll get a link and they can fill it and submit it. So they do it directly.
Okay. I'm answering Kashvi here, who says, can we do a bachelor's in design? I'm saying no. Am I right, Mercia? There's no bachelor's in design at
Okay.
Ashoka,
Design
right?
it. Yeah.
One important question that, last, and then there's one very small thing, which is that, I don't have a profile. So do I need to make a profile before, there are people when they say I can't apply to the US because I haven't done community service. Is it like this? If I've only, basically, I'm a great academic student, do I not have a chance at Ashoka?
So can I just answer this and as candidly as I can? I hate the word profile. I actually just really hate the word profile. There is no right profile or there's no right fit or there's no just forget about it. Just be yourself. Fill the app diligently. Fill all aspects of the app, mandatory, non-mandatory. This current platform that we have, you cannot jump. You'll have to fill each section before you go to the next section. But we are trying to put some screenshots on the website soon, that maybe just to give you an idea of what's coming. But fill it in detail. You may be a very padauku person, right? Who is only studying. But I'm sure you do something in the 10 hours that you have when you're not studying, or the 5 hours that you have, right? Maybe you're just hovering around and taking care of a grandparent. That's fine. If that's what you're passionately doing, please put it. Or maybe you're baking at home, or maybe you like running or going for walks. Maybe you just like to read, right? And that's all you're doing. That was me. I didn't have any other extracurriculars when I was growing up. I just was always in some corner reading. But the fact is, that's what I'm passionate about. What we're really trying to say is don't cook up things. Please tell us what you do outside of your academic interests. It allows us to get to know you and get to know your interests, because there are a range of opportunities at university. We want to know that you have enough in you to make the most of some of them. You can't make the most of all of them, right? But that's what we're sort of gauging. So please just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to get right answers. There are no right or wrong answers, right?
Okay.
They're all just good questions. So don't try to find some right answers to write.
Right. So, last two, again, I'm saying last two, but these are really the last two. So, is there a sports scholarship, a sports space like
No sports scholarship. We encourage students with sports. We're really excited about students who are doing sports. We support them on campus. We've got really good sports facilities, but we also want to ensure that we don't set you up to fail academically. So we'd like to know that you're able to engage with Ashoka's academic program to some extent as well.
Right.
So
Finally, if a student has studied math without science and they want to do physics in Ashoka and then do computer science, can they like now opt for science if you've not opted in 11th and 12th?
you can do computer science without having studied computer science. By doing but you need to have math. But you cannot do physics without physics in classes 11th and 12th. I know that. So if you see our website, there are something called discipline specific requirements. So mathematics, it's largely what you require for econ, and they have some options. If you don't have, you'll have to do a course, pass something, get a certain grade. So we've tried all of that. But for physics, it's mandatory that you would have done physics in classes 11th and 12th.
Thank
Cool.
you, Masha. A lot of the other questions are questions to which we have answers on the website. So please
Yes.
go ahead and reach out and check the answers on the website, and you'll be able to get a lot of
I,
answers over there.
I'll get off this call. I mean, before I get off this call, I'll just put down the details of where you can write to, which
Yes,
email
just
I.
that last slide with the
And yes,
contact.
the last slide, I'll just put down those details, and maybe I'll respond to a couple of some messages I've gotten, and then I'll pop off. Okay.
That will be great, Mercia. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Welcome. Thank
Sorry,
you. All
guys,
the
to
best.
rush Mercia. I know there are so many questions and this could go on and on, but we do have three more really exciting universities for you to learn from. And Mercia is here for a little while answering your questions, and a lot of stuff is available on the website itself for you to check out. Thank you so much, Mercia.
Most welcome. All the best. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys. From this huge liberal arts perspective, I want to now move you to looking at a most amazing tech university that that we have in India. No, another liberal arts university, Krea. I'm so sorry, Meenu, I got confused. I thought we were going to Plaksha. So we are now. I would really like to invite Meenu now. Meenu leads admissions at Krea, and she's been leading it for a while. So she'll really be able to give you a sense of that university. Again, a liberal arts university, Krea has a really wide range of options and a lot of business courses, something that you might miss in Ashoka, for example. So you really have a lot of focus over there. It's a very different experience being in Sri City, and I won't go on more and more. I'll hand it over to Meenu to take you through what the Kriya experience is. Interwoven learning is what she'll be speaking to you about. Over to you, Meenu.
Thank you, Richa. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all. So, Richa, one small addition that I'm not looking after admissions. I'm heading outreach at Krea. So,
right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. So I will just share my screen, and thanks to Mercia, she has already explained what liberal arts is all about. So I will not go into details of liberal arts, but I will try to give students some kind of case studies, because many times we keep talking about liberal education, liberal arts and sciences, and that one needs to look at challenges from different angles. But I think it's also important to understand that, how it actually works in the workplace. So I will try to throw some light on that. So if you look around, the world, I always say that once we are moving towards the Industrial Revolution 5.0, we really need to understand that what is the role of human beings in this tech-driven world. And, it's all about humanizing technology. No technology can exist, without liberal arts. So, students and parents sometimes they wonder that, what are the career options after liberal arts and sciences? So just remember that, of course, the world is changing, and whichever career you pursue, it will ask for a balance between man, machine, and nature. So wherever you are dealing with human beings, liberal arts and sciences will definitely, come. And I'm sure Plaksha is also going to talk about, that technology cannot survive without liberal arts. So when we talk about liberal arts and sciences, here I would like to just touch upon this thing. Liberal arts and sciences actually gives you an opportunity to connect dots from various disciplines. It is like a T-shaped, you understand, you gain broad-based knowledge about various subjects and how to connect dots with the in-depth knowledge about one subject, and plus then you also gain transferable skills which you might not get in any conventional university. And for the future, I will say that always remember that there are 5 C's to remember: critical thinking, creativity, communication skills, collaborative skills, and the 5th C, which I think is very, very important, is connecting dots from various disciplines. So one is multidisciplinary, where you get to study different subjects, but maybe you're studying different subjects in silos. But at Krea, we teach that how these subjects are weaved into each other. So just to give you a kind of case study, so let me just see, and Richa, I will require your help. I would like to ask the students that do they recognize these people? Quick, I can't see the chat, Richa, if you can just read out if they're answering.
Not Jack Ma. So someone's got Jack Ma.
Yeah. Who else? The first
Zuckerberg is there's Mark Zuckerberg. They've got that.
Yes.
I think it's the same student writing those answers. Guys, give it a shot. Who are the other people? Do an image search on Google.
No. And in fact, when you're answering this, of course, I can't give you more time because I also have limited time.
Elon Musk, of course.
Is that Elon Musk here?
No, no. So, when you are Googling on your other tab about who these people are, just also try to see what was their education journey. So the first one is Susan Wojcicki. Okay, I will press the next button and now you have answers on the screen. So first one is the Susan Wojcicki, who is the CEO of YouTube. If you look at her education journey, she had done bachelor's in history and MSc in economics, and but she headed the tech world for 20 years. Of course, now she is retired. Jack Ma, who failed Chinese university thrice because he was weak in maths, did BA English but started an e-commerce company. Brian Chesky, who was an industrial designer, started Airbnb, and Mark Zuckerberg basically combined computer science and psychology because he felt that the need is that human beings need to affiliate. Need for affiliation was the highest need, and this is how we combined the two. And Howard Schultz, who never knew how to make coffee, he was a communication designer, but he knew how to communicate to you that coffee is important over over a chat. So now I'm showing you these cases because these are all successful people. Of course, the list is endless. I have chosen only these 5 because their education journey and the career journey are very different. So that's what you will see, that these were the people who actually connected dots from various disciplines. And this is what happens in the actual world. For example, if you want to work as an economist, then you need to have information about everything, as Mercia also was explaining. But it is not only knowledge. You should know how to connect environmental science with ethics, with history, with economics, with politics, with psychology. Because if you're working as a business analyst in any company, it's not that you have done a business course and you will be very good business analyst. You need to know their culture. You need to know, what is the psychology of people, in that particular region. And this is how, you need to combine various subjects, and there are plethora of career options in front of you. And combining these subjects is possible with liberal arts and sciences. And I am going a step ahead, with Krea, that Krea gives you a chance to have various permutation combination where you're not only studying these 2 subjects, but if I take an example, say computer science and philosophy, how to study computer science from the lens of philosophy, or how to study philosophy with the lens of computer science, how to study that, how arts and sciences are actually weaved into each other. And you can just look at these, and if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot. And in the meanwhile, I will give you another case study of Nissan company, who's an automobile industry. When they were coming up with driverless cars, they said, okay, why is it that some countries don't want our driverless cars, and say one of the country is India. So they had anthropologists and sociologists who conducted certain surveys, and they found that ethics was so important. Because just think about Delhi. I'm a Delhiite, so when I cross road, I just look right, left, and I cross. If it is a driverless car, and sometimes I stop the car like this, and if it is a driverless car, I will be killed. So although it is technology, but how human beings behave in a particular culture is very important. And here I come up with another, some case studies of Krea students, who have completed BA, BSc programs with Krea under interwoven learning model. And this is how, they are doing in life, like Pooja, who was a major in psychology. Today, she's working with Karkinos Healthcare. So it's not that if you do liberal arts, you cannot work in the health industry. You can, it's just that how do you know how to connect dots? Manvi Teki, who is a major in computer science, is doing MSc NetTech and Computers Interaction in Carnegie Mellon University now. And I will just share one more, Amartya Sinha, who has done major in social studies, and now he is pursuing his master's in public policy, in University of Chicago. And you get all this experience in the university. So basically, when I was explaining this, Krea was conceptualized with the vision of bridging the gap between the higher ed and the world of work. Because as a part of the interwoven learning, we also look into the fact that how theory is weaved into the practical, how Eastern concepts are weaved into the Western concepts, or how arts are weaved into the sciences. So all these people, starting from Raghuram Rajan, Kiran Mazumdar Shah, all these are part of a governing council. So Krea campus is located in Sri City. in Andhra Pradesh, which is 2 hours away from the Chennai airport. Now, Sri City comes under specific economic zone, and I will encourage each one of you to just do a research on, this, because they have 187 corporate sectors, MNCs. You talk about Isuzu, Cadbury, everything is there. And it's a very green city. Pollution free, because corporates are there, but residence is not so much there. So the entire city is comes under specific economic zone. So our main core values of Krea are ethics, excellence, inclusivity, and accountability. And you will see how it is practiced. The Krea knowledge system, knowledge ecosystem, basically has 2 schools: IFMR and CIAS. CIAS is the School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences, which gives BA, BSc degree. IFMR gives integrated MBA degree. So we have 7 research centers also. So whether you are doing BA or BSc, you can always work as a research intern in any of these research centers if you clear their process. And also our professors also give a lot of funding, gets a lot of funding from the Krea, and you can work as a research intern for the entire year with these professors as well. So we focus on research a lot. I will skip some slides because I don't want to take more time. So Krea, as far as the faculty is concerned, you will see that the faculty comes from a very, very diverse experience. So it is not that they have done PhD in one particular subject. You will see that they are equally trained, in some other subject also. May it be Anil Srinivasan, or may it be Swarnmalya Ganesh, like Anil Srinivasan, who is a pianist, but is a professor of literature. Swarnmalya Ganesh, professor of literature, but she's a theater artist also. So everyone actually teaches you through this model, which you can see on the screen, where these 8 components are extremely important. So all our courses, whether you do a maths course or a psychology course or a literature course, all courses are very, very writing intensive. And we also believe in moving from what to learn to how to learn, as Mercia was also explaining, and ethics, historicity, data analytics. And I will just say that interdisciplinary is into such an extent that maybe a history professor will not teach you history. Maybe that day he will teach you history of science, or maybe ethics. So it's totally interwoven in nature. So we have a academic structure looks like this. It is a 4-year program now as per new UGC guidelines. The first year consists of all the skill courses and core courses. So you can come to Krea undecided. You don't need to declare your major minor when you enter Krea. And in the first year, you do all these courses, starting from creative expression to literature arts, mathematical reasoning, social analysis, ethics, design thinking. These are compulsory for everyone, whichever course you want to pursue. So it is a trimester system. You cover up all. And then in the beginning of the second year, you declare your major minor. And these major minor can be any combination. I will show that slide also. You can exit after 3rd year with BA, BSc degree. If you plan to do the 4th year also, then at the exit of 4th year, you will get BA honors or BSc honors degree. After every year, at the end of every year, you get internship opportunities or, research opportunities or kind of summer program, all depends. All these things will be offered to you by Krea. You don't need to run around for, for the research projects or for internships. These are the major minor combinations which are available. Every major you can see on the screen can be taken as a minor. And you can take any permutation combination. And I was listening to all the questions being asked to Ashoka, so I will try to answer those questions here itself for Krea as well. So, we don't have any prerequisite to choose any major. So suppose if you have not done biological sciences or physics in your high school, you can still go for, the major in these subjects. If you don't have maths, you can still go for economics as a major or computer science as a major. There is no prerequisite. We offer now double majors also. That means, you will have to do 2 double credits in both the majors. So there is a possibility. Now, we don't have any placement cell at Krea. We say career service office. So career service office starts working with you from the very first year. They train you how to build up your CV and how to appear for the interviews, self-awareness. They do all kinds of, activities with you. so that you are well prepared for the world of work, whether you are going for the higher education or you're going for the job. So every year they have a specific topics and workshops to be focused on. These are a few organizations where students have done their internships. It's a very, very diverse campus. We have students from 5 countries, 21 states, and 60 plus cities. And of course, talent is also very diversified. Along with academics, we equally take care of the student wellness. You have the help available here, those 24/7, and we have in-house counseling psychologist also now who keeps doing various kinds of sessions and workshops with students. And as far as student life is concerned, we have almost 20 clubs. So this is the beauty at Krea. If you want to start your own club, Krea supports you. Otherwise, you can be a part of any of these clubs, and you every day, evening, something or the other keeps happening on campus. Very vibrant campus in the evening. So these are just a few pictures which I wanted to share. This is the academic block, the dorms, the amphitheater, because I would like to jump to the admission process. This is the new library which has built up, and library is also open up till late, you can be a part of it. Now, if we have students of class 12th here, we have already started our round 1 from 3rd of October. The deadline is 15th of November for the first round. Our admission starts with the online application, which starts with the personal story, and I will take 1 minute here. This personal story is very different from your Common App essay or your statement of purpose for UK. So personal story is truly personal in nature, in the sense that you talk about your life. We would like to know what kind of a person you are. Just be yourself, as everyone says. So here you're not supposed to talk about your awards and achievements as you do in your UK applications. It is not any event specific. Maybe I don't have any full event in my life, but I can just talk about my life, what has made me the way I am. And suppose if you are good with words, please, the limit is 750 words, write a personal story. If you're good with videos, you can also submit this personal story in the form of a video, song, poem, or art portfolio, whichever way you can express yourself in the best possible way. Then we also need your scores from grade 9 to grade 12. For grade 12, we will be needing predicted scores, either self-predicted or school-predicted, either will do. Your co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So whatever you have done, Olympiad, theater, dance. Now, like one question was being asked is it necessary? What if you don't have any co-curricular and extracurricular? So we are perfectly fine with it, because we strongly believe that every student has some kind of uniqueness, and we value that uniqueness. So maybe your uniqueness lies with being academician. So that's okay, because when you join Krea, you will be involved in so many group projects, especially in the first year where you are learning the transferable skills. You will build up on your profile. You will learn all those skills. So that's perfectly fine with us if you have not done any co-curricular and extracurricular. But again, whatever little bit you have done, please do mention that. There is no advantage or disadvantage of taking SAT. But if you want to, write your SAT scores, please do submit. That will be considered as a part of your profile. If your SAT score is above 1380, then you might skip the Krea assessment test. So whoever submits the application appears for this Krea assessment test, which is a 75 minutes test, logical reasoning, numerical, verbal ability, and critical analysis. There is also 15 minutes for on-the-spot essay writing. Once you clear this, then you go for stage 2. Either straight away you can enter the personal interaction depending on your performance in your assessment test or your application, or you come through case analysis. So I will just explain what is this case analysis. Everything happens online, starting from the aptitude test to personal interaction. So in case analysis, 7 to 8 students join on a Zoom link. Now, before that also, you will be called and, a rapport will be formed. So these 7 to 8 students are given a topic, maybe they are shown a slide or a video. For example, they just show you a picture of Statue of Unity, right? Then the case analysis will be, they will just ask you some questions just to start the discussion, and then the admission officer and the professor will be a fly on the wall, and they will just observe the group, and then you're supposed to carry on the discussion. Remember, this is case analysis, so they're looking at your intellectual curiosity, your collaboration, communication. Always remember, communication is not only talking. Communication is listening as well as sharing your views, and whether you are able to look at it from different perspectives. Now let's say Statue of Unity. Now, one perspective can be geography. It is in Gujarat, and money was spent, and some political party was involved. Maybe they have their own interest. Maybe they had an interest regarding the place. So politics is also involved. The culture, the culture of the people who are there, it gives rise to tourism. So economics, how that entire economy will grow in that particular region. The physics, the balancing is required to put such a huge structure in place. The chemistry, what kind of material is being used, the history associated with that Statue of Unity. So psychology, sociology, everything is interlinked. So this is how a case analysis is being evaluated. And then, of course, personal interaction, which is not aptitude based. It is again with the objective of knowing you in a better way. This is our tuition fee and the living expense. We do have financial aid and scholarships as well. Financial aid is need-based, and scholarships are based on your performance, mainly in the Krea assessment test, again, which can vary from 10% to 100%. You don't need to apply for scholarship, but you need to apply for financial aid if you clear stage 1. So you will get a form, once you get the offer. These are the timelines. Okay, the top is not visible. I don't know why. So 15 November is basically your deadline for round 1. 23rd to 25th November is for your assessment test, Krea assessment test. 2nd to 9th December, which is shown, is basically your personal interaction or case analysis. And by 16th December, you will get your offer letter. So these are the details. You can take a screenshot, and the link which you can see, which I'm also going to paste in the chat box. This link is to join our Krea Connect. So every Wednesday we have Krea Connect. Anybody can join and ask any question for 1 hour, 5 to 6. We are available there. So you can all clarify your questions. You can ask about the application and all. So Richa, I will stop here. And now I'm ready to take questions.
And there are so many questions already, Meenu. So
okay.
let me quickly run through some of them, right? So a lot of it is excellent approach. There's a lot of appreciation for the approach. Let me just run through these combinations people are trying to. Can I do psych major with eco minor at Krea?
Yes. So you can take any permutation combination.
So can I do politics and international relations?
Yes. So international relations, we don't have a major or minor as international relation, but I will suggest that if you want to do international relation, then social studies with say history or political science will do wonders.
Wonderful. Now there's this question, I think, from a master's student. Kashvi, I believe you would be a master's student. She's asking, can I do MBA without business studies and math if I have entrepreneurship, economics and accounts? And can I do MBA without doing BBA or BCom if I have BDes?
So Kashvi, I will leave my email ID and phone number. So I'm not looking after MBA, but you just send me a message and I will connect you with the person who is looking after MBA.
Right. In general, though, MBA has no prerequisites in any university that offers MBA. So I think, Kashmi, you can rest assured that you'd be eligible. Okay, so, Meenu, this is a question that, people who are trying to understand Krea often ask, which is to say, how's the social life at Krea since it's so far away from the main city?
Yeah. I get this question very often. So if you're a student who who loves to spend your weekends in a pub or big malls, then I will not suggest. Krea is a beautiful campus. You can go for trekking, you can go to Pulikat Lake, but yes, you can go to Chennai. Chennai is full of pubs and malls, so you can have a life there. But if you want that, I go out of the campus and I find something, you might not. But it's a beautiful city. There are a lot of multi cuisine because 187 corporate sectors are there. So you will find all kind of cuisines outside the campus. So far people have not find any problem, but it all depends what kind of personality you have. But definitely students are so involved on campus only. Like whenever I go and visit the campus, I see something or the other going on. Sometimes it is flower days, sometimes mushaira is happening because of Eid, or sometimes Diwali celebrations are happening. So they celebrate every festival. So many a times, and most of the time, students don't feel like going out of the campus. But of course, you can go to the Chennai, that is the nearest city, and you can, it takes only 2 hours. 2 hours by road, but most of our students travel by train, which is very easy. It takes only 1 hour, to reach the city. So you can do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I visited the campus and I thought the students were having a blast and we really, really loved the vibe there. So I can vouch for that. Right. Here, so there one question over here that Navika is asking is that are there benefits of applying in the first round? Is there a difference in applying in the first or second round? So is there a strategy behind when I apply?
So, you have the same chance of being chosen in any rounds. So the chances of the probability of being chosen is the same. But generally, I will recommend the sooner you apply, the better it is. Because, then you get your results also early. And then you can prepare for your board exams stress-free. You're not occupied that I need to finish my personal story and transcripts and all. So that's my personal suggestion. Otherwise, the chances of being selected is the same.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, now this is a question about disabilities. That is there any support provided during the admission process for students with learning disabilities?
Yes, definitely. So again, in the application, there is a separate section. You please mention that, you require a special support, and if required, just attach the medical document also, and you will be given extra time or scribe, whatever help you need, that will be given. We do have a separate, integrated learning systems. So where, we have the psychologist and the special educator who will take care of whatever kind of support you need. So just mention it in the application and we will take care.
That's actually wonderful. This didn't exist when we used to apply to college at all. So I think that's really, really wonderful. This question, can you apply only in one round? So let's suppose I don't get through one round, can I apply again?
No, you can apply only once. You cannot apply again.
Right. Okay. All right. Are the topics for the interview and discussion rounds more India focused or world issues and topics? I think that's a very relevant question for someone who's preparing.
So you don't need to prepare for any of these things. You don't need to prepare for the assessment. You don't need to prepare for case analysis. So the topics are very general. It is not that you will not be able to answer. So and it's more about how you express, how you collaborate in the team, and whether you are able to look at it from various angles. You are free to use Google also during that time. So you can research on Google that time. It is allowed, because it's the way you connect dots that is more important. So don't worry, you don't need to prepare. The topics are not subject based.
Well, that's quite something, it's really that, how do you pick up that information and you process it? That's a lot. Yeah. So, Meenu, there are a couple of lifestyle based questions which I'll club together. So, one question that I've now seen thrice on that chat is that are mobile phones allowed on campus?
Yes.
I know. And how often can parents meet their children?
So there is no hard and fast rule. They just need to write to the dean of student affairs, and the permission will be granted. So there is no hard and fast rule. As you were talking about student life, there is no curfew time on campus when you are in the campus, right? But if you're going out of the campus, then 10 o'clock. You need to come back by 10 o'clock. But if you're on the campus and you want to work late nights, or you want to chat with your friends, then nobody is going to tell you anything.
Right. For as long as you like. So you sort of treat it as adults that, now come and you
Yes.
deal with your life over there, right? Wonderful. All right, Meenu. So one last thing, this is a question from my end. I've heard students say that there is a lot of student professor connect in Krea, and that really like stands out. So can you just tell us a little bit of how you make that work in such a large cohort?
Thank you so much. In fact, I missed that point. Thanks for bringing it up. So there is something which we call it as academic mentorship. So, every professor is assigned 7 to 8 students. Although we have increased our cohort size and all that, but that mentorship still remains. So for any kind of academic problem, you can walk up to this professor and you can just, sort it out, whatever is there. There are many professors who are staying on campus. So it's very common at Krea. Like when I also go to campus, I see that in the evenings, just students are just sitting with, in the academic block with the professors and chatting around and working on certain projects. So that way it is very, very, the connection is very good. The professors are very approachable. And plus, when you have the academic mentor, when each student has an academic mentor, then it becomes easier for them to get adjusted with the entire scenario.
Absolutely. Wonderful. That's great. And thank you so much. Kashmi, questions on BDES, I'm just going to answer when we talk about Flame, because Flame is the one with BDES. So I think that if there are any more questions, then, you could reach out to Krea directly and try and answer those. So thank you so much, Meenu. This has been very enlightening. Yes, you're saying.
Thank you. And I will just leave my phone number and email ID and the registration link for Krea Connect in the chat box.
That's really nice. Thank you, Meenu.
Thank you so much.
Right, guys, and now over to Plaksha. Like I was saying, we've been talking about liberal arts, and now we move to a university that's a very different tech university in India. And so many questions about tech. So Vikram is here, and Vikram Patel, and he'll really lead us into technology education and future careers. So he's director of outreach. I'm sorry, this time I got this right. And see, what Vikram, people have always been asking in the last 2 months or so is that now that there's chat GPT, is there no point to computer science anymore? What do tech students do? So that and much more, over to you, Vikram.
Thank you so much, Richa, and thank you all for being here. I don't know how many of you are interested in tech because this was titled Liberal Arts Colleges in India.
We edited it and we added the tech over there. Apologies for that again.
No, not at all. And this is not just you, but across the country, I think Plaksha is in that category of progressive liberal schools, which we are rightly there. But we're not just liberal arts sciences, we are a tech university. And what I'll do is over the next 10 minutes, talk exactly what you asked me to. So there's a lot of confusion, right? I studied computer science, and I remember when I did that, we had to write every line of code, and just a flower bracket somewhere missing, and you'd be scratching your head saying, why is it that not working? And today you have technologies like ChatGPT that does things for you. It can debug your code in like seconds. You can create an app without writing a single line of code if you're a good prompt engineer. So a lot is changing. The most interesting part is it hasn't been even a year that the GPT-4 was launched. And look at us, right? Look at how we've adapted. Look at what all things it can do. It can, it created an Eminem song, by the way, if you know of it. It sounded like Eminem. It can write books, create artworks, write poems, give you medical diagnosis. So I think AI is here to stay, and it's going to change a lot of the jobs that we do. We'll never reach a matrix kind of situation, if that's the question. But certainly what we do and how we do it will definitely change. What's also happened is artificial intelligence along with automation is really, really, the pace of change has never been the same. When telephone was invented, it took about 50 years for 1 million users. When Facebook came, it took about 2 years, the same number of users. And with Instagram, it was a month. And ChatGPT, by the way, did it in 2 days. So really, I think the pace of change is faster than ever before. And the question of what engineers will do in the future is also a very valid question. And not just engineers. What will writers do in the future? What will psychologists do in the future? What will doctors do in the future? I think that's all the questions that we keep receiving. And we are going to find answers to some of them. But like I think both the previous universities mentioned, I think really employers, whether it is a tech company, a consulting firm, an FMCG firm, at the core of it are looking for graduates with these skills. They're looking for resilience. They're looking for empathy more than ever before, and more than your technical skills that you learn. Like for instance, Python is something that a lot of the kids, it's called the cool coding language, right? A lot of kids are learning Python. But if it was only Python that engineering degree had to teach you, you could go to a Mac institute and learn that. So I feel a role of a university is much more than giving you domain expertise. It's, preparing you for a future. The World Economic Forum says that 85% of jobs haven't been even invented, the ones that will exist in 2030, just 7 years from now. So a lot is changing, but let me now come to Plaksha and just generally to the tech world, right? For a long time, engineering looked like this. We had very siloed disciplines. There was civil engineering, mechanical, chemical, electrical. But going forward, when we're looking at more and more futuristic jobs, we're realizing that a lot of these silos will have to be broken down. We need engineers, like Meenu is also talking about that. We need engineers who understand humanities and social sciences equally well. Some of these jobs, there's a job called AI ethicist, which is a very popular one that's coming up, where you need mathematics and computer science along with philosophy. To those of you who might be interested, there's a movie called Social Dilemma on Netflix. You should just go and watch that movie. It'll make you go off social media for at least a week. So it talks about what technology can do in our social life, and what social media can do. So we will need more ethical engineers in the future. But even core technical roles like robotics, for instance, for you to be able to be in robotics, you can't just do mechanical engineering anymore. You need to understand mechanical, you need to understand electrical, you need to understand software engineering. So a lot of integration and a lot of interdisciplinary programs are the future. I also want to talk about India here, Rich, I'm sure many of your kids are looking at study abroad. But look at India, look at where we are. Being in higher ed for the last 10 years, I can say this is the most exciting times to be studying in India. You have 200 unicorns in the next 2 years. We are the 5th largest economy in the world. Have we ever seen such defense manufacturing happening in India ever before? Companies like Apple are finally talking about Make in India phones. Tesla is setting up an R&D center. So in the future, in the next couple of decades, we will really need skilled engineers in India who understand Indian problems, who understand Indian context, who understand Indian diversity. While we might not be able to give you the diversity that a US university can, but we give you like that national diversity, we give you Indian diversity, which is equally important. India is not Gurgaon or Delhi. We have Kashmir and Jharkhand and Kerala, which are very different. And for you to understand that diversity is equally important. So don't think of India as a backup option. There are really good universities now that have been set up in India. The problem with our education is this, especially tech education. So the National Employability Survey says that 80% engineers are unemployable. Less than 40% have done any real world internships. And there's a huge gap between what the tech industry is looking for and what kind of graduates we are creating out of our tech institutions, right? And this is exactly the problem that Plaksha is trying to solve. What we're doing at the university, and this is really what should be the takeaway for most of your students, is we're reimagining tech education, where we are bringing in more social sciences in engineering. So generally, there's a book called The Fuzzy and the Techie, right? So it's the term that is used. So all the kids who do the computer science and tech programs are called techies, and all other liberal arts kids are called fuzzies. And generally, it's said that the liberal arts kids can do the big picture thinking, they can do critical thinking, they can collaborate, they can ideate. And the tech kids can't do all of that, right? And Plaksha is trying to integrate that. We're trying to integrate social sciences with technology. We have a curriculum that's been designed by experts from across the world. And generally our philosophy is that Plaksha will create the kind of engineers who will solve the grand challenges using what they learn at the university. We are philanthropic. Plaksha has 130 founders. This include, like, if you were put in charge of setting up a new tech university, I don't think you could find a better set of people. The CEO of Tech Mahindra, the former chief, the Asia Pacific chairman of BCG, founders of Naukri.com, leadership from McKinsey, Goldman Sachs, Zomato, Bharti Airtel, you name it. And we really have a very lustrous group of people who've passionately set up Plaksha. Many of them themselves are, by the way, IIT Delhi graduates. So they understand Indian tech education. They also understand what's happening in the West. And they've set up Plaksha as an answer to what kind of engineers the world is looking for. We also have, also traditionally, I think, engineers are looked at it as a very myopic discipline. Somebody who does physics, chemistry, math is the one who will pursue engineering. Plaksha is also changing some of that. We have a lot of kids interested in fintech who are studying at Plaksha. We have a lot of students who want to get into water technology, digital agriculture, many, many other things, environmental studies, who are doing tech courses at Plaksha. And we have partners, and like Jefferies, for instance, is one of US's most respected investment banking firms. So really, I think we have support from across the world. This is again our global advisory board. So Plaksha's journey started in 2015, even though our BTech programs only launched in 2021. But we've had 3 institutions that have helped Plaksha build the program. One is Purdue, there's UC Berkeley, and there is SRI, which is a former Stanford Research Institute. And these institutions have helped us, over the years to build the 4 majors that Plaksha offers. Our advisory has, the former VP of Open Learning at MIT, the Dean of Engineering at Virginia Tech, you name it. And again, global expertise in tech education have supported Plaksha. Arvind, for example, is a Senior Associate Dean of Purdue. We also have Nobel laureates like Abhijit Banerjee, who's not a technical person, but he is also shaping the curriculum at Plaksha, right? I'm not going to go into details here, but for a 2-year-old university, we are not doing so bad on partnerships. I think our partners include now Cornell. We've recently signed for an exchange program, student and faculty exchange. We have UC San Diego. And more than that, I think the second row is also equally exciting. We have amazing public Indian universities as partners, which include Indian Institute of Science, IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, and our students can access research facilities here. And mind you, this is, again, as I said, it's a new university. So for these institutions to sign up with us shows the kind of credibility that we've been able to build very young in our life cycle. Our programs, as I said, so one of the unique advantages of Plaksha is that you can come in as an undeclared student. While I know for my friends in liberal arts colleges, this is a very usual thing. For tech universities in India, this is unheard of. You cannot do a BTech degree in India unless you decide your major from the first day, right? At Plaksha, you can come in, you can do 3 semesters, which is called the freshman curriculum, and then decide what you want to study. And in this first 3 semesters, we expose you to, robotics, data science, biosystems engineering, but we also have human sciences, social sciences, leadership, ethics, philosophy, and really, we expose you to a lot of areas, right? But I want to emphasize that we are a tech university. So there's a strong focus on math, physics, on building core computing skills in all of our graduates. So that's something that I do want to emphasize on, right? These are the 4 majors that we offer. I want to spend a minute here. The first one is called computer science and AI, really integrating the two majors. Anyone who's looking at, natural language processing or blockchain, deep tech, recognition systems, machine learning, any of these emerging technologies, you can look at this major. Very few, again, universities that offer this. We have a program called robotics and cyber physical systems. This, as I said, integrates mechatronics, electrical engineering, computer science. So whether you're looking at designing a drone or a autonomous car or an industrial robot or a robotic machine that can perform surgeries, anything to do with that sort of area, you can look at robotics. We have a lot of kids interested in space engineering coming into this program. So again, but you have to really love physics and be very good in physics to be able to do this program, right? The third major we have is called biosystems engineering. Now, a lot of you, I don't know if there are students here who are looking at medicine as an option in India. I think most of them only look at, take subjects like PCB, physics, chemistry, and biology and prepare for NEET. But there are different alternatives available in the field of biology. Now, this program, so I'm sure you've all heard of biotech engineering. So biotech generally refers to areas like genetic engineering, drug development, prosthetics, mostly looking at human health. So Plaksha's program is called Biosystems, which means we look at human health and all the aspects in it, but we also look at planetary health, like clean energy or water or digital agriculture. So really, anyone who's interested in the bio and the tech intersection, this is a beautiful major. Anyone wanting to make a career in health can look at this program. And finally, we have a very interesting major called Data Science, Economics, and Business. This major, by the way, is open to any student who has mathematics in 11th and 12th, which means a humanities, a commerce student can apply. But the underlining term is that you should not be averse to other sciences. You will be required to study physics and biology in the first 3 semesters. So this is not for a student of commerce who's taken math because it's the eligibility to Delhi University. It is for students who really like mathematics, who are good in calculus, who want to be an engineer, but also want to explore the fields of business and economics. So this is not a BA economics program, right? It is about 50 to 60% of the curriculum here is data science. See, today, if you look at the world of business, understanding of data, understanding of technology is a crucial part. So the kind of kids that Plaksha is looking for are students who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to start their own companies, but who want to be an engineer first, who would like to be a data scientist. So that's really who we're looking for. If there are students from grades 9 to 12, we also have something called the Young Technology Scholars Program. This is a summer 2-week program, excellent for students to, maybe one of the few credible, rigorous tech summer schools in the country, taught by faculty from Harvard Medical School, Northeastern, full-time, very, very experiential. So it's an amazing program and you can learn more about this. These are the kind of projects you make in 2 weeks during the summer program. Faculty, of course, include, so the former Dean of Engineering at Berkeley is our Chancellor. The former Deputy Director of Indian Institute of Science for 20 years is our Vice Chancellor. So we've sort of gotten the best of West in India, merging to create the curriculum and teaching at Plaksha. We currently have 35 full-time faculty members coming from MIT, Purdue, Cornell, IITs, really, really the top brass who teach full-time at the university. Just 2 years into the system, we have students interning at PCG, Ernst & Young, HCL, doing research internships at IIIT, Brown, many, many other places. And by the way, BCG, for instance, only goes to the top 3 IITs for internships, and they've come to Plaksha. They've recently got a student for the 3rd year internship, and like he's getting like a stipend of $1.5 lakh a month. So really, we're doing fantastically well on our internships. We're based in Mohali. It's 10 minutes away from Chandigarh Airport, the campus. It's a 50-acre campus. It's in making. It will take time. It will take about 5 to 7 years to be complete. But whatever is required of the current cohort is completely ready. These are the pictures of the campus. You can actually go on YouTube and do a little bit more research on who we are. And it's a fantastic campus. We have amazing maker spaces available. I'll end with like a couple of minutes on the admission process. Who are we looking for? Like I said, I think I've made it very clear in the presentation that we're looking for kids who have a passion for technology, who have the creator builder mindset. Our applications will open very soon. It's a very simple application. You put in your grades from the 9th onwards, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. We accept 3 standardized test scores, which is the SAT, ACT, and JEE mains. We are looking for a very high, above average performance in mathematics across your academic career from the 8th onwards. And generally, like our averages are quite high. Like for instance, our essay. So in SAT, we only look at math, and our average is around 765. And we look at ACT. I mean, I can tell you averages of everything if you have questions. Then we look at essays, extracurriculars, co-curriculars, put all of that in, and if you're shortlisted, there is an interview. And we generally are looking at who you are and more of that. Our eligibility is that you need math and physics for all the majors, all other majors except DSEB, data science, for which we only need math. We've started attracting some of the best kids from across the country. I can send this presentation to Richa, by the way, and she'll be able to share this with all of you. We are need blind. So our fee, we are the most expensive engineering school in the country, but we have tons of scholarships available, both merit and need. About 30% kids study at no cost. So don't worry about money when you're applying to Plaksha. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vikram. I got a lot of insights from your presentation, and I think you also answered a lot of questions as you went along that are coming over there. So I do think that it's an extremely inspiring university, and any student today who's looking at STEM courses is looking at Plaksha, but also a lot of our economic students, we at least strongly recommend that, look at it. So before I plunge into these questions, a question about the economics major. So if I have a student who loves eco and they love math, now they say, but is it just too techy to study eco and data in Plaksha? Would you not recommend it to them if they've not got any experience in computer science so far?
Well, not really. See, that's not a requirement. Computer science or programming is not really a requirement. But they have to understand that the program is a tech program, right? They're going to be an engineer. And today, Richa, I would argue that somebody who's taking up data science or even economics, if you're not very good in statistics, or if you're not very good in mathematics, it's very hard. And even data science, for instance, right? So that's the kind of the program that we are offering. There is also courses that are going to be taught, which are in AI and ML. So this is a unique program. And students who, as I said, are averse to the sciences generally should avoid applying to the program. This is clearly a program which is a data science program. I would not call it an econ degree. I would call it a data science degree, which borrows concepts from economics and like if I were to give you a small example, right? Uber has search price modeling, right? So search price is looking at supply and demand. It's trying to increase profits, but it's a data science model. So that's the program.
Thank you. That really makes it very, very clear. Thanks a lot. So let me ask you some specific questions that people have put up here. So one is that is this B.Tech degree the same as a BSc honors, or how is it different?
No, so generally I would, these nomenclatures actually are very confusing. In India, you call it BS. Many universities in the US give you, in India, we say B.Tech, but many universities in the US give you a BS degree. So really, I don't get into, in Indian nomenclature context, yes, BS can be a 2-3 year degree also. A BSc can be 3 years, and it might not be as rigorous as a B.Tech program. B.Tech is usually 4 years in India. But again, I would look at the content of the program, not really the nomenclature.
Right. Now, this is one very direct admissions oriented one, that what are your acceptance rates for CS with AI?
Okay, great. So we don't actually admit students into a particular program because we have undeclared options. But generally, our acceptance rate last year was around 17%. So we've accepted 1 out of every 8 or 9 applications that we received.
Oh, wow, that's a very competitive admissions rate. All right. So, there are some other questions here about, do you need physics in grade 11 and 12 for biotech major? And the answer is yes, like you said, other than data science, everywhere else you need physics. That I'm looking at other questions. FinTech, what course do you have for it? I guess that's the data science and eco course, right?
Correct, correct.
If you don't take science subjects in +2, can you still do a tech degree in Plaksha? No, right? So now, if we can just, I was very intrigued when you said that I can give you those details of, like you said, the average 765 maths in SAT. So give us those insights. I think that would be really something useful for all the participants.
Yeah. No, so generally, our average of class, see, again, students, I want to put a disclaimer here, don't self-reject. We are a holistic, our admission process is very holistic. We look at everything in the application. Averages don't mean that if you don't have that score, you don't make it. These are averages. So just treat it like that. Our average of class 12 scores have been around 95% last year. For all the local boards. For IB, it has been 38.5, around 39. We've not made offers to any student who's had less than 90% in mathematics across 10th and 12th boards, or for example, somebody who's not had a 6 in IB. We've not made offers to students. Our average of SAT, as I said, is around 765, 770. ACT is around 33 in math, and JEE, the range that we receive is around 93 percentile to 98 percentile in mains. So generally, you have to qualify for advanced, of course, to be able to be considered at Plaksha. But Richa, we have kids who could have gotten into the IITs. I know it's a very controversial statement to make, but we have kids who picked us over bids. Many of our students have offers from Purdue, from Michigan State. We have lots of kids with NTU, HKU, 100% scholarships. So we have surprising cases who are preferring us. But obviously, the decision making is very subjective. So I would advise students that you go through everything and pick a university that makes sense to you.
Right. So, Vikram, I have been answering some questions just out of the
Thank
data
you.
also.
Thank you.
And, Anju has another meeting to attend, and she's representing Flame. So, do you think you'll be able to take some questions after Anju's presentation? Are you in a hurry to leave?
Actually, I have another meeting. So whatever questions, if you can just share my email ID, they can write to me and I can answer them.
So if I can, just request you for 5 minutes, if you can just stay and people can put it in the chat.
Sure,
And then
I'll just reply to
beyond that, if there are any questions, then people can reach out to you directly. I'm so sorry, but
Not
every
all,
time I
don't
think we
worry.
just run off by 10-15 minutes because there are so many questions.
Don't worry. Thank you for organizing this, and all the very best to everyone. We, by the way, have an office in Gurgaon. I'm sure all of many of your kids must be from this region.
Yes.
So if you're interested, want to meet us one-on-one, we're happy to meet you. Thank you.
Then we should definitely drop into that office to start with.
Pakka.
We must see you there, Vikram. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Right. So welcome, Anju, and sorry to keep you waiting. We are really, really happy to have Anju and Mansi both with us. They're representing Flame, and Flame is a really, really popular university amongst all our students. So Anju's Director Admissions and Outreach, and Mansi is Regional Head of Admissions and Outreach for the North. So they both are really here for you to answer lots of questions, and people have been saying BDes, BDes, BDes. So yes, Flame has a BDes, and it has science courses, and it has humanities courses, and it has everything that you could ask for. So over to you, Anju.
Thank you so much, Richa, and a very good evening to all the students and maybe parents. I don't know if they're also part of the audience. So, actually, when I started talking about liberal arts, 3.5, 4 years ago versus when I talk now, I think the awareness is already, as I'm seeing that the graph going higher, that people are aware about it and they understand. And thanks to so many people from the same tribe, like Richa and Anjana, like we're really talking about this. So I'll just give a little brief about certain myths that people have, and then I'll quickly jump into, more details about the university. So if I have to describe, liberal arts or liberal education, so I think the first line that comes to my head is that, you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. And this is not the phrase that I've designed, but I use it a lot. And the credit must go to somebody who designed, but I don't know. And it's really interesting to be working in higher education space in this 21st century. And when we're looking at education as such, so the rhetoric is often on, debt versus reward, on whether or not students are workforce ready, or when they cross the graduation stage. But in my opinion, those are valid discussion. However, so is the value of exploration of education. So my question to myself and my peers when I talk is, so as educators, should we be discussing a balance of workforce readiness and creating educational experience? I mean, it can be handled together, right? So to approach this justly, let me just start by dismissing some policies about liberal arts. People think liberal arts does not refer, or maybe liberal arts does not refer to the, actually the liberal art does not offer to the opposite of the conservative. People think that, okay, in the regular university you go only study economics. Here, if you go and study in liberal arts, you study economics, you can study economics with XYZ. Well, those are just offerings, right? But actually, it refers to the concept of freedom, liberating your choices and being, pertaining to free men, worthy of a free man. You can think what you want, you can question what you want. And that actually is liberal arts education. So another myth about liberal arts is that, it starts and ends with humanities. No, rather it includes arts and humanities, but also mathematics, political science, economics, computer science, entrepreneurship, data science, so many subjects. This is, again, it's a pedagogy. It's a system of learning, which is liberal arts or liberal education, but it does include a lot of subjects, right? And so this was something about the liberal arts. Now I'm quickly going to share my screen, if you just allow me.
Yeah, sure, you could.
Yeah, I shared this and then I go. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, I'll just go full screen. And so Flame is a very popular university when it comes to liberal arts. In fact, many of you may or may not know that it was actually the first ever campus in India to set up liberal arts university. We surprised the UGC when we said we want to offer a 4-year undergraduate program for maybe political science or public policy or computer science. And from there, the journey began. We've come a long way. We've grown organically. Uh, in this gathering, I definitely want to back my views with this book called Range, okay? And it's a must read, somebody who wants to really understand liberal education. And it's talking about, I've also read Fuzzies versus Techies, the book that Vikram was referring, and that's also a brilliant book to understand what actually liberal arts is. So this book, David Epstein talks about how generalists triumph in this specialized world. You have a skill that only you specialize in, and you just follow that particular career. But in this world today, where the changes are so fast, you must be aware of the society to even do better in that one skill that you're talking about, maybe, or one area of specialization. So it's a really interesting book, and you must have a look. And in this book, actually, we are talking about that the world definitely needs, specialist and also generalist. Liberal arts allows you for early sampling period, which means in your first year of university, you'll be studying so many courses which your school and board has never offered you. But it doesn't mean if the school doesn't offer, that subject doesn't exist. You must have a fair chance of trying and understanding about that discipline before you actually say that, hey, I'm ready to do this, or I ain't do this, right? Then the difficult learning now makes for a superior performance later. And this is the extract of, what actually a liberal education means. So in the beginning, in the first year, you may have come, and I've interviewed maybe almost 30, 40 students, Flame students, to recruit in student ambassador program. And I asked this question to everyone that, what did you think that you're going to come and study data science? No, she was coming here to study psychology. And guess what she's declared? She's declared data science as a major. How can it ever happen if you were not really truly exposed to something? So difficult learning now makes superior performance later, right? We learn who we are when we try new things, and do not be afraid to quit. We are not judging you. It's fine if you pick up a course, take a risk that, hey, you know what, I've not taken math, I dropped, but I can still do a course in calculus. Maybe something else will pop up. Worst case scenario, you'll not score well in calculus, but calculus is worth understanding because it creates and develops, balances your right left brain thinking process. And you learn something very interesting, which may be just very surprising. This is a survey done by National Association of Colleges and Employers. And we include this in our presentation because we also follow this when we tweak our courses or introduce new courses and all of those things. The previous survey had leadership on top. Okay, I think it was first or second skill that the industry required. Today, we're talking about teamwork and problem solving, and leadership drops to maybe 6th, 7th position. What is happening? We can see this change in just 2 years right now. We're not even talking about 10 years from now or 5 years from now. So these are the skills that you have to be ready, but nobody takes up the onus of teaching these skills. All of it is left on ambiguity. When we look at liberal education, we're talking about critical thinking. And when I say it, I mean it. They're like tough courses where you develop those skills to think critically or view things in a very critical way. Leadership, resilience, independent working, collaborative working, all of these skills which the industry is talking about, these actually get embedded into the program. I'm going to just throw light on what Flame offers. So Flame offers 3 and 4 year undergraduate degree program. When you register at Flame University, we just call you an undergraduate student, okay, in the first year. First year is about exploring. Remember the things that I shared. You're going to pick up some courses to develop your skills. You're going to pick up some courses to explore what all exists. Then in the second year, you declare your major and a minor. Then you, of course, imbibe through various experiential learning courses, practicals, internships. All of these are credit courses. Okay, even your internship is credited. And then in the fourth year, if you continue, after 3 years, you have an option to exit. But if you continue for the fourth year, your degree becomes of an honors degree. If I'm psychology major, I get out of the university in 3 years. I'm a major in psychology. If I choose to study the fourth year, I become psychology honors student with anything that my minor is. We have 5 schools of liberal education, School of Computing and Data Science, School of Business, School of Communication, School of Design, Fine and Performing Arts. And all of this is available under one umbrella. The degrees that transcend out of these offerings is a BA, BSc, BBA, and a BBA Communication. And these are just, see the title is a 3-year undergraduate program. And if you can take it to the 4th year. Whereas I know you did mention Bachelor's of Design, that's a separate application and it is a mandatory 4-year undergraduate program because of the nature of the subject. And I'll speak about that in a little bit. So you can also pick up some interdisciplinary majors like computer science and design. And again, I met a student today studying computer science and design. I met somebody who's studying data science and economics as an interdisciplinary major. I also met a student with design management. So it was really interesting to see that, these students are, enjoying these courses so much because of very updated and industry ready program that is. And they had to make this choice not on the day 1 when they landed on campus, but in the second year. So I will stick to this one now. So these are certain courses which develop students. Now why it's very self-explanatory that these are fabulous courses. They'll give you brilliant skills which are transferable in nature. But why is it important as per our own philosophy, and why did we include this? When you go to a school, unless it's a residential school, in a day school, you get students maybe from 10, 15, 20, kilometer radius. So you're listening to similar thing, you're experiencing similar weather, similar, surroundings. You also, it's a mob thought process, because you laugh on similar kind of joke, you are exposed to a similar kind of society. But when you come into the university, I'm sorry, that changes. I mean, at Flame, we have 190 cities represented from India alone, from every state. We have students, Indians, as of now, Indians, we do not have international students in terms of not of Indian origin, but maybe 19 countries, Indian origins from 19 different countries. So it's a very, very diverse student community. They're coming from a different socio-economic background. They're coming from a different educational experience. And when you come to the university, the curriculum is rigorous, I'm telling you right now. So if you're the kind who like to submit your assignment a night before, please do not even think of applying because here it's a continuous assessment at Flame. So you're studying throughout the year, so academically rigorous. And to prepare the students for that start, what is my responsibility? My responsibility is to teach you how to write, which it's a credit course in academic writing. You'll do so many surveys, you'll read so many books, you'll review so many things, you will write something. You should be able to you should have the skill of critical reasoning, asking the right question, questioning the answer, all of those things. You will present your work, public speaking, digital literacy today. So these are all the courses that you must be you must have these skills to do better in your courses. Now, along with this, you also have to pick up two courses in all of these areas of knowledge in your first year. It is not an option. You have to. It's mandatory to pick up two courses from all of these 5 areas of knowledge. Irrespective, you're a humanities student, science student, IB student, Cambridge student, CBSE, state board, any city, any country, does not matter. You have to pick up these courses. And that gives you an opportunity of, understanding that, hey, you never explored data science, but now I've taken a course in data science and look at what has happened. I'm probably changing my opinions. This is how it typically looks like. So this is, you can pick up 2 courses from social sciences. It can be intro to political system, intro to sociology. And, this is available on the website. I'm not going to, then after this, after first year, you declare a major and a minor. And you'll be surprised that there are 350 possible major minors. A student interested in finance can study major in finance, and your minor can be applied mathematics, public policy, psychology, advertising and branding, digital marketing and communication, film and television, journalism, environmental studies, computer science, international studies, sociology, economics, philosophy, dance, music, theater. So much of option is there. So you can just imagine a class in finance. Okay, you're studying finance, I'm studying finance. Your minor is maybe computer science, my minor is psychology. And if you're working on a project, do you see the dynamic of the group discussion, dynamic of the perspective that comes into the classroom? That is liberal education. It is not merely offering 2 subjects and making a combination out of it. That's not even delivering justice to a delivery of that program. So these are some 26 major minors written on your right screen, and on the left is your degree. So in the first year, you're just a simple undergraduate UG student, UG1. At UG2, you declare your major and minor. For example, maybe I have economics as a major, and I take digital marketing and communication as my minor. So my degree will be a BA, major economics, minor digital marketing communication. But I flip it. If I have a friend of mine who has digital marketing communication as a major and economics as a minor, so her degree would be of a BBA communication. So again, look at the options. You do not have to get into a box and adjust yourself into, space designed for you. You can design your own based on your own experience of the first year. So it's a very, very dynamic uh, and complex architecture of the academics. And we really say, I mean, it's really impossible for anyone to even replicate this, because just imagine 800 students come into the UG1 and we don't even know what major minor they're going to take. So the readiness at the university, it's very, very complex, and we take huge pride that we're able to touch wood successfully deliver this. So you can continue after the third year and get an honors degree in fourth year. So this is something that is majorly that I want to share. Now I'll just take 2 minutes on design. So now again, design is, we were the first ones to start the liberal education in India, and the design that we've started is also with a little twist, because we are a liberal arts college. So when the students come into the university, they do not come in for product designing, graphic designing, UI, UX, or any of those fields. You come here and do the major in experience design, because today designers are creating service is also a product today. The way you serve things, or create a service around, maybe it could be a finance industry, it could be a entertainment industry, anything. So this is an experience design. What do you study in it? You can, after doing this, you can become a product designer, you can become interior, UI, UX, you can do anything, but this is called experience design. And here also you have to pick up a minor, either in psychology, literary and cultural studies, marketing, business analytics, or entrepreneurship. So these are 5 minors that we provide. Again, the first year is going to be similar to the other undergraduate program. You will be exposed to a psychology and a sociology, because a designer needs to know the society well to be able to understand and empathize with what they want to what they're thinking of creating as a product. Bachelors of design at Flame means there are 3 pillars: human behavior, business, and technology. Irrespective whether you come from humanity, you do not have to be a science student to study this technology. You do not have to be an art student to study this human behavior, or psychology student to study human behavior, or have business to study business. No, you must have an aptitude to solve problems. We do not even need a portfolio for a bachelor's of design. If you have it, it's absolutely good. It will be reviewed, and you may because again, the kind of design that is happening is literally a student is learning about design at a coaching center before even you come to learn design at a university. We don't want you to learn a wrong design and understand the principles of design in a different way. So our aptitude test is also based on it's a Flame design aptitude test, or we also take USEED and NIFT and NID test students who've taken those submissions will be accepted if they have a score of that. So this is the pillar of design. And why so? If tomorrow I'm going to create a service or a product, I must understand the business aspect for it, so that I am the one who gets benefited and not someone else who earns out of my thought process. I should be able to scale it. I should be able to predict that what's the next thing that I have to plan, and I do not get stuck in just one model of whatever my creation is. So this is experience-centered design is the basic curriculum. And we will be doing some other open houses for design specially. And Richa ma'am, I'll definitely share that invitation. So design interested people can actually approach to us separately. And we have our dean who's very, very excited to talk to students. And we can arrange a special session for that. Now, what are the focus areas? In the first year, you're doing holistic liberal education view. Second year, it's critical thinkers, storytellers, makers, and doers. Third year, it's about collaboration, human society, technology. And in the fourth year, it's about system thinkers, leadership, applied and reflective practitioners. So these are more technical terms. What are you going to study in the subjects further? In technology, and please let me tell you, you do not have to be a science student to understand this technology. But you must be aware of this, because if your product or service that you're designing requires a technical support, you should be able to ask what do you really need, and what exists, because you understand technology. So this is a curriculum, and a typical student who has critical thinking abilities, who wants to solve some small problems, big problems in the society, that's the kind of student we're looking for a design. And we have a very small cohort of design at the university. So, and that is how it's going to remain. Any questions so far? Because this is, so I've covered basically all the undergraduate programs. I've covered design, because, sorry, I didn't look at the watch. Now I see that I've already spoken for 25 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. So any specific questions? Apart from that, there's so much students. You have a global connect, you have experiential learning, you have clubs and societies, more than 60 of them. You have exchange program with certain universities. You can assist the faculty in the research even in your second year. I just met a student today who I interviewed. She's assisting one of the deans in his research, and she's just in the second year. So you can do a lot of things, just that we want a student who's very curious, somebody who's there's there has to be some intellect, curiosity in a student. And then this university offers so many things. We have writing centers. We understand students coming from the national curriculum school have not been taught and given opportunities to write. And when they come to the university, I think we really boast that our students can write from 5,000 to 25,000 word projects and assignments. In every term, they're writing that much. So they're taught, and there's a writing center as a support system, which is headed by the faculty, one faculty, and maybe 20 other students who've mastered the art of writing, who understand writing so well. There's a Q center, there's Vivekananda Library, which is again a research hub for many students. These are many universities that we collaborate with. We have students going to their university, their students coming to ours. Wellesley and Amherst, Babson collaboration, Yale, Boston, there's so many universities here.
Right.
Seance Po, and faculty is really, I think this is what makes the university, more than going to another country, somebody who's studied and has an experience of international education and is your faculty in your classroom. This itself gives you a very, very different kind of exposure. The campus is really gorgeous, and I invite each one of you to book your campus visit and let us know if you wish to come. I think this I have spoken about. I'll quickly tell you about, this is a typical parent question. Students are, I think, more interested in learning, but parents do get a little anxious that, okay, after liberal arts, what is it that the students are doing? So these are very popular names that people want to see and talk about, where already Flame students are working. These are some of the students' journeys, right from the United Nations to the World Bank to having their own startups. Now about the application is open. So all the grade 12 students, you can actually start your application for the 5 rounds that we've already opened up. When you start your application, you can choose that I want to be part of the early decision cycle or online cycle 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's a paid application. You have to pay 2,000 rupees. After you've paid the money, you have to submit your documents, such as your your report cards and your other achievements. Then you have to write a statement of purpose and submit the application. This is the application part. The second part opens up when, after you finish, we send you an email for your FEAT or FDAT. That's the design aspirants. And it's online examination. After the examination, we declare the result in 2 weeks. What does the examination talk about? We're talking about verbal ability, reasoning, quantitative, general knowledge. It's a 120-minute duration, and after the and it's all MCQ based, right? So after you finish that, you'll have a pop-up with a statement where you have to write on the spot essay. Then after that, you're called for a personal interview. So this is basically all the process, and you don't have to worry about this as much, because all of this comes very easy to students after they've finished the application. One of my team members will get in touch with you.
Great.
FDAT, again, it's a design aptitude test. It's part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is similar to the UG applicants, but the second one is imaginative sketching, object sketching, problem solving, situational analysis. Now, here a lot of students ask that, I don't have, if I'm not good at sketching, we're not looking at how beautiful you've drawn. It's just, you can also draw and make captions to it, like this is what I mean, or explain it, but we're looking at your thought process, how effectively you can think, and do you have the aptitude, not that skill of really drawing, because it's a very different course at Flame University. Math requirements, it's only required for computer science and applied mathematics courses and data science. The other courses, you do not require math. For economics, data science, and if you do not have math, you can still apply and take up those extra courses of mathematics in your first year. Remember, we spoke about you have to explore so many things. You can take extra courses in your first year to bridge the gap there.
Right.
We have merit scholarship, need-based scholarship, and special scholarship. Students, this is the fee structure. It's about 10,45,000, and this includes your accommodation, it includes your food, it includes all the facilities on campus. This is, applications are open. This is my schedule for applications. So if you see, my application is open. 3rd of December is the deadline. 2nd to 5th is the aptitude test. And then from 5th 2 weeks, you'll have your decision. And any student who applies to Flame can apply twice. If you, sometimes it happens that, you've had a bad day and you were not able to perform. So you can apply one more time. Yes, if there are any students who are in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, they can also apply to us for summer immersion program. It's an on-campus 10-day program where you learn about the liberal arts, the design, and the computer science, and you can choose what track you want to do. Yep. So I'll stop sharing this here. Thank you so much, Richa, for patiently hearing me out, and all the students also, please. Yes.
Right. It's been wonderful to get so many insights on Flame. And you're right, it's one of the most popular universities that our students apply to. And the beautiful campus, I think it is time for us also to make a campus visit, and everybody who can. Anju, do you have time for questions? Because I know
Yes,
Mansi
I
has been
do.
answering them. So let me
Let's see.
pick up a couple of them that I believe, are. So one is about learning support.
Mhm.
One second, I'll just tell you where that question is. Basically, what sort of learning support is offered for students at Anjana? That's your question, right? Do you want to just
Yeah,
address it directly?
yeah, basically, thank you, Anju, for a wonderful insights. And as Richa said, it is a popular university choice for our students. So we have quite a number of, students who have different types of learning disabilities or other physical challenges that they may have faced, because of which their results have been, affected and all. So at the admission level, are there any special considerations that you give? And if yes, how do they address that? And at the university, once they join, what are the kind of learning support and other supports that they can look forward to?
So the moment any student starts with the application, so part of the application is going to ask you whether you need any learning support or you have any special needs. There is a line, because it's really important for us to assess that application differently than just looking at it in the whole pool. So now, since the question is very sensitive, needs are very sensitive, so it is case to case basis, and then certain documents that we ask the students to share with us in terms of some from the doctor, some from the school, and based on that, there is a separate, they're viewed. Those applications are viewed separately.
Okay.
If the student gets selected and student is on campus, those consideration are given throughout.
Okay.
And there is a certain support system that is provided to students throughout the journey, but the curriculum remains the same.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Curriculum, because as a university in school, you can do these adjustments, but in a university, you can't do that because you fall under a certain guideline. And which is why I always suggest students to look at the courses that they want to do, if it suits them, the kind of teaching learning pedagogy that this university uses. All of these little aspects must come into play before giving them the offer.
And of course, there would be support for mental well-being of the students.
Yes, yes.
Right, right. Thank you so much. That's useful.
Thanks, Anjuna. Anju, there are a lot of these design questions. So we seem to have a cohort of guests in our session who have a lot of interest in design. I know you said that there's a specific person that address those questions. Could you share those details?
You know what, Mansi, can we, so Richa, what we'll do is after the session, we'll just get in touch with you. I'll have Professor Mrityunjay or Professor Shamit to join. I'll create a link and share it with you. And let's have maybe a half an hour session, maybe tomorrow, day after, whenever you feel, so that we clear these doubts right now. Because there's so much about design. I'm just not really equipped to even give out all that information. Every time I hear my professors, I am so zapped that this is what we are doing. It's absolutely, path-breaking design curriculum that we're offering, and the students who've come in already. We could also get somebody from there because they've already been in the system for 3 weeks. How did they find this out, and what the transition is? So we'll keep it for that. But if there's any very simple specific question that I can also pick, I'll be very happy about admissions or something on those lines.
Right, I'll do that. I just want to tell everybody that, we'll, Jayanti, Monica, Shreya, Kashvi, all the people who are very interested in design, that, my colleague Kamalika, she will coordinate this with you, and we'll try and make sure that you get these questions directly. Because, from Ashoka, we've just been hearing the design questions but why doesn't liberal arts offer design? And I was like, wait for Flame. They
We do, and let me tell you, please go onto the website, go to BDES and see what all is there. It is absolutely amazing. I'm very fond of this one gentleman, and he's like the god of design. He's the one who coined the term user experience. That's Mr. Don Norman. He's on our advisory board, and he's rejected IITs and I don't know what all top universities around the world to be on their advisory board, and he just loved the program that we're offering. He said, "This is what I'm talking about." And in fact, he also told one of our dean that the new book that he's publishing is talking about the design that we're offering. So it was suddenly so beautiful feeling for us that we've been able to create that design. It ain't about just being able to draw and paint or just create, and everybody's got the chair and the car or something on their portfolios. I mean, we don't want them to learn from a coaching center what design is. They should just have an aptitude. So we'll be having a separate session with whatever number, even if it's one student, I'm happy to
thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Anju.
Because that's really important,
Yeah.
And I see that there is also a course called Design Management in the list of courses that Flame offers. And that's something very unique, because at that level, to be able to do that. That's the curriculum. I remember going through the curriculum with one of the students, and it's very interesting that you can learn all those elements at the undergrad level. So that's brilliant.
So here your major is design and business and also design. And that's why it's design management. And it is how it is married together to complement, the whole learning experience. And similarly, we have computer science and design also.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
There was a
and,
question
and
also.
communications management. No, the question, there's one interesting question saying, can I apply for two programs simultaneously? Like I'm applying
Yes.
for BBA and BBA communication. Can I apply for BDES and something else? And then if I get both, I choose one. Is that sort of thing possible?
So that is possible, but not in all those proximities. For example, you can pick up communication study as a major, and you can pick up there are 20 other options with communication if that is a specific question. And you can pick up a minor in, I'll just quickly, just see it
I
on
think
my.
the question was that can the student apply for BBA and BBA
You
communication?
apply for only UG, undergraduate program.
Yeah,
It's
you choose actually later. Yeah.
it's only in the after you finish first year that you say that, hey, you know what,
Hmm.
my major is communication studies and my minor is finance or marketing or business analytics or computer science, all right, or maybe psychology. So there are so many options. You do That is why you do not declare that in the first year. Just imagine if you were to fill up the form and pick up one major minor combination, you would have to cross 349. It's a Herculean task, impossible for just a 17, 18-year-old to make that decision. I mean, you give me 5 options, I'm confused at 50 years. So this is a hell of a lot of combination. So the students will experience this and then declare a major, and they will not have this question after finishing the first year. They will
That's
not.
of course. I've had a student join for thinking I'm going to do HR or something related to psychology and calling me after a year that, ma'am, I'm finding business analytics very interesting. Do you think I should go for that? So, only when she was exposed that she could have the choice to be able to think. And
Yes.
that's very interesting. Yeah.
So
So
yes.
I think there are more clarifications on this thing that people are asking that, so if you aren't sure, should you just give both the entrance test, the FEAT and the FDAT?
You can give both, but ultimately you'll have to choose one. So I'll tell you something. So that's why you must get a very good. So the thing is that even when you're doing design, you can do minor in business, psychology, literary, and cultural study. There are still the options. So you're not going to be juggling so much. But somebody who wants to do design must be sure of, at least little more sure about design, because this is again like somebody who wants to do engineering knows that you want to engineer, then later on whether you do computer science engineering or chemical or those other engineerings. So you should be clear about your design. Coming to your forms, you can fill both the forms and you can get both the offers. We'll treat you this thing, but you'll have to pick one.
Right. So then to answer Arsha's question, I think the answer would be no. She's saying you apply for a UG program which can become BDES or BA. So no, you'll have to choose that at this
You can
entry.
come to the UG program and have design as your minor with 21 possible majors, because we offer design with 21 options, right? So you can be doing finance, you can be communication, psychology. There's a whole list available. If you go on the website and you go to design as a minor, then you get a list of all the majors you can do with that design. It's on the website. So yes, you can do design as a minor with so many things, and your degree will be depending on what your major is. But you cannot, after joining, say that, hey, you know what, I want to major in design. Only for design, you have to come into design because it is a mandatory 4-year degree. It is not a 3-year degree, unlike the others where you have an option to exit after 3, and the fourth one becomes an honors, right? So design applications is separate. So I also see BTech in computer science and all of these questions. What is this? Should you have studied mathematics until 12th for all the undergraduate programs in? Yes, you must have studied. You should have studied maths. Or if you've not taken maths, then you'll have to pick up the courses of mathematics in your first year at the
So
university.
they'll have that option. So if you've not done maths, you can pick it up in the foundation year.
Yes. So only for computer science we require math. Sorry, only for computer science. If it is economics or anything else or
That's
finance, you
wonderful. That's wonderful. So if a student has now decided I want to do computer science, not studied maths in 11th and 12th, they still have a pathway.
yes, yes.
No, but for not for
That's what the
computer
universities do. That's what most of the universities do.
right.
Right. No, mostly in India, if you've not done
Not in India,
11th,
overseas. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
meant overseas. I
Yeah,
meant
so in India, it's a wonderful opportunity for students if that's what Flame is offering. All right, so I think mostly we've been through most of the questions over here, and I think that it's really been very enlightening. And thank you so much for your patience and staying back. I know we've really crossed over the time, and you had another meeting, so thank you so much for accommodating us.
pleasure.
And Mansi, thank you so much for answering all the questions, as it came along. I'm sure people have a lot more questions still, and you can reach out to Flame directly, and they're very helpful, and they will really reach out and answer your questions. And all the best to
Absolutely.
everybody.
So either you can write to Mansi, or Mansi can write to Richa, and then we create one closed room meeting just for design aspirants.
Yes.
That's
Where
great.
one
Yes.
of the faculty can speak, because it's a new program. I wouldn't do justice in even explaining. I know there's so much which we're also just learning about it. So it'll be exciting for the students directly to speak to the faculty.
Yes, wonderful. We'll get that going, and we'll inform everybody. Thanks so much
And
for offering.
one last thing for design, we are going to do a 3-day boot camp in December. So Mansi, please definitely remember to share that information
Oh, yes,
with her,
please.
because it's a limited seat. We're just
Yeah.
going to have 50 students on campus.
Oh.
A boot camp where the students, there's no finance for the course, because obviously we want people to come to us and understand, but they'll have to take care of their logistics of traveling. Accommodation we'll provide. So when this information is ready, Mansi will share it with you.
That's
Interesting.
that's really nice.
You
Look,
guys come to campus, come on.
yeah. We must come. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking when I was
Anjana, Richa, and
we're going to
Kamalika, please, you have to be on
Yeah,
campus.
we have to. All we get to hear is from our students. It's so beautiful.
And
We
come
keep
and meet
clicking
your
pictures and sending.
students here, and now there
They're
are,
going to be
but
watch us now. We'll coordinate with you. Really look forward, and thanks so much for your time. This has been an excellent session. Thank you very much.
my
Thank
pleasure.
you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Thank you so much, Anju ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.